In this tutorial, we will have a look how we can make this tile map, how we can place our tiles in order to make our level amazing and to make it cool. And before I jump into the coding part, I want to thank Kalman Pilla, Dex, Dylan Hurges, Game of Life, aka Rajat Sharma, for donating me on Patreon. And if you guys want to do that, you can do it on my Patreon page. I will have the link in the description, and also you can unlock the game source code of this game source code by taking membership on my Patreon page. And I will use another project to make this. Basically, I will explain that how you can do it, but I'm gonna use another project. But if you want to get this game, then of course make sure you check out in the description. So without further delay, let's dive into this complete tutorial on tile map in Unity game engine. In order to place our tile, we need to create our tile palette first, and after that we can do that. To do that, we need to move over to this hierarchy. So let's go over to hierarchy, right click or hit this plus icon, then go to 2D object, tile map, and then choose this rectangular, and we can call this one ground tile, and we can call this grid one something else. So I'm gonna call this one let's call it level, and this one I'm gonna call it ground tile instead of calling tile map, or let's leave it to ground, basically tile map as it is. And if we select our tile map, move over to our scene view. In this scene view, you can find it anywhere, this open tile palette tab. So once you get that, click on it in order to bring that. So you need to click on it. Let's suppose you lost, make sure you select the tile map underneath your level in the hierarchy, then go over to scene view, and you can have it in the top bar, left bar, right, or in the bottom. So you need to find out. And so once you find out, click on it, and it says that you need to drag the sprites. Basically, we need to drag tile sprite textures over here, and we can just bring this down, something just like that. So we need to create a tile palette. So I'm gonna click on this create now, create new tile palette, and we will click on this create new tile palette, and we have to name the palette what we want to name it, and let's rename to something we like. So I'm gonna leave it to something like palette, palette, just like that. And then click on this create button, and we need to choose a folder where we want to place it. So I will move over to assets in the top lab, or we're gonna create a separate folder. So let's right click, new folder, and I'm gonna call this folder to something like tile map. And after doing it, let's double click on it in order to open that up, and I'm gonna click on this select folder. And now what we have to do, we need to drag the tiles, basically the sprite we need to slice individually. So to do that, I will move over to my project tab, assets, and then in sprites folder. I have the tile set over here, you can notice. So I'm gonna select that one. For now, I'm gonna cut this tile palette tab. So let's select the sprite sheet, go over to inspector, then choose single to multiple, and pixel per unit to choose something like 16, and then filter mode to point no filter to remove blurry, and then click on this apply button in the bottom right. And once you're done, click on this open sprite editor tab, so it's gonna open that up, and it will be selected like automatic, just like this. So what you need to do, you need to click on this slice in the sprite editor tab in the top left side, you can see. So let's click slice automatic to grid by cell size, and in the X we're gonna choose 16, and in the Y we're gonna choose 16. And after doing that, click on this slice button in the bottom, then click on this apply button. And once we done, it's gonna take few seconds to slice individually all of this 16 by 16. And after doing that, we can select our game view. And now we're gonna choose our tile map in the hierarchy. Let's click on this open tile palette, and we can simply click on this arrow to see individuals. We need to select the whole spreadsheet and then drag it over inside this palette tab, tile palette tab, and it's gonna take us to a folder. Basically, we need to choose a folder where we want to place it. Once again, we will go to assets in the top, or in the top left side you will see. Then open up the tile map subfolder that we recently created, and we will click on this select folder in the bottom right. And as soon as we're gonna do that, it's gonna do it for us. Basically it's almost done. Just wait a moment. And now it's have done that thing, and we are ready to place our tiles. So let's select the tile map. Then inside this tile palette, you're gonna have this. So I'm gonna start placing my tile just like this, as you can notice, and we can just place like this. And this is our ground. And let's suppose you have the player. So in my case, I'm gonna select my player. Let's leave it that. Leave it that, and we can just place our tiles. And we have some tools in the top bar inside our tile palette. We have the brush tool, and we can use this tool in order to brush like this. Basically we can place like that. And we have the move tool. And let's suppose you have done something mistake, or you just place a wrong tile anywhere, so you can select the eraser tool in the top bar. And then and the shortcut key we can notice is D. So we can just select that area, and we can just remove just like this. And we have some other tools. We have the move tool. We can select the tile that we want to move, and we have it inside this tile palette in the top left side. So we can select the tile or the area that we want to move. And after doing that, next to it we have the move tool. Basically this tool, choose this, and you can just move it anywhere in the scene view you like, something like over here, just like this. And we have some other tools, and this is our pick tool. And what this tool is does, it's basically we can just copy a area, and then we can just paste it anywhere in this in view we want. So I'm gonna make my ground, so we can select just like this, and we can just place like this. And this seems pretty much cool. And what we're gonna do now, we have these grasses. For these grasses we want to choose another. But before I do that, so firstly I'm gonna select this one, and I'm gonna enable my player. And I'm gonna take my player somewhere around here. And if I just go ahead and play my game, you will notice as soon as our game will start, this game object will able to pass through it. So what we basically need to do, we need to add tile map collider 2D to our tile map, or this ground tile, so this player game object can land top of our ground. Just wait a moment, and as you can see it's just gets passed through it. So we're gonna get out of play mode, and we need to add tile map collider 2D. To do that, select your tile map, or basically the ground tile. Then go over to inspector, and in the bottom click on this add component, and we will add a tile map collider. So we can simply type tile map collider, and as soon as we type, it's pop up, and we can just hit enter or click on it in order to attach that. And now if I just go ahead and play my game by now, you will see this player game object just gonna land top of our this tile map, basically this ground tiles, as soon as our game will start. Just we're gonna have a look on this. And indeed, as soon as our player game objects fall down due to gravity, it just landed top of our this tile map, or this ground tile. And let's suppose you just want to compile all of the tiles at once. You don't want to have individually, you just want to compile at once. Then you need to attach a component called composite collider 2D. So let's do that. So what we have to do, we need to select our tile map. Let's click on this add component, and we need to add a composite collider 2D. So we will type by typing name of the component, which is composite collider 2D, and we will attach that. And by default it's gonna attach the rigid body. So we will move over to rigid body 2D component. Body type we're gonna set it to kinematic, and collision detection we're gonna choose continuous, and interpolate to choose interpolate. And after doing that, move over to your tile map collider 2D, and over there you will notice a field says composite operation and it says none. So we need to choose this merge, and as soon as we clicked on that merge, we can notice by now the individual tile map colliders just get at one, just gets compiles at once, and this seems pretty much great. And now we are ready to create our ground grasses, we are ready to create our back tiles and all of those stuff. To do that, we will select our tile map underneath our level, and instead of calling this one tile map, we will call as something like ground tiles. So let's rename this to ground underscore tiles, something just like that. And we're gonna click on this open tile palette, and we are ready to place our ground tiles. Just wait a moment, and we can just paste just like this. And let's suppose you just want to flip, then we have the flip tool inside our tile palette, so we can just click on it in order to flip that, but I'm not gonna do it. And I'm gonna choose this area just like this, and we can just choose the area and we can paste it just like this, and it seems pretty much amazing and cool to see. And we can select the copy tool and we can just paste it just like this. And let's suppose you just want to move it, this tile set, this whole tile set somewhere else, then you can select the tool which I explained it earlier, which is in our case uh, it is grid or area tool, and the shortcut key we can notice is S. So we can simply press down S key on our keyboard to get that tool right away. And we can select the area, and then we can choose the tool which is next to it, and we can just move it anywhere in the scene view we want, just like this. And now this seems pretty much fine. I'm gonna drag it a little bit down, and we are ready to create our grass tile. So we can just select our grass and we can paste it there, but it's we don't want to add any collider 2D or tile map collider 2D to this grass. So that's why we're gonna create a separate tile map. To do that, we need to select the grid or the level, then right click on it, go to 2D object, tile map, and then choose this rectangular, and you can call it something like ground tiles. So I'm gonna call this one ground sorry I'm gonna call this one grass underscore tiles, just like that I'm gonna call it. And now we can select our grass underscore tiles. Make sure you don't choose this ground underscore tiles, choose your ground underscore tiles, grass underscore tiles, and we can select our grasses and we can just place just like this, as you can see, and this seems pretty much cool. And now if I just go ahead and then play my game, this player will land top of our tile map collider, sorry, ground tiles, as soon as game start. And we don't want to add any collider 2D or tile map collider 2D to our ground grass underscore tiles, because we don't want to have sorry, we don't want to have any collider. And indeed this player game object is not colliding with this grass tile, because we didn't added any collider 2D or tile map collider 2D to this grass tiles. But the problem is that our player seems in front of this grass tiles, so we need to take our player and we need to move it behind, or we can simply take our grass tiles and we can bring it in front of this player. To do that, what we need to do, so firstly we're gonna get out of play mode, we're gonna choose our grass underscore tiles or any of them like ground underscore tiles, then go over to inspector, tile map renderer, then move over to additional settings, sorting layer, then click on add sorting layer. So we're gonna create two sorting layer, one for our player and one for this grass. So let's click on this plus icon in the inspector, let's call this one player, and we're gonna create our one for our grass. So click on that plus icon, Let's suppose the player is in front of this grass. So what we want to do, we want our player to be behind of this grass tiles. So that's why we're gonna take our grass and we're gonna drag it top of our player, or we can simply select our player layer and we can drag it behind our grass. And now what we have to do, we need to assign one by one. So we're going to choose our grass underscore tiles, and we will move over to inspector sorting layer, and we're going to inspector, then move over to this tile map renderer component, then sorting layer, then choose this grass for this grass tile. And if I go ahead and play my game, because the grass sorting layer is in front of all of the sortings layer like default and the player, you will notice this player will be behind of our grass by now. So just wait a moment. And indeed we can notice by now our player game object seems it's behind of our grass tiles, and we can get out of play mode, and we can also assign our player as a player sorting layer. So we will select our player in the hierarchy, go over to inspector sprite renderer sorting layer, and we're gonna assign with player. And player, we can notice it's behind our grass. And let's suppose you want some ropes or trees just like that, then we're gonna create that as well. So let's take a look on it. So to do that, we will select our any of these tiles. Basically select the grid or the level, then click on this open tile palette in this in view. You can have it anywhere. So what I want different things, like I want to have some trees. Of course I will have a link in the description of this tile set, you can go and check that out. So I will head over to my project tab, assets, and then a sprites folder, and we have the tile set over here. So this tile set I have, and this one. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select the tile set, and as always we're gonna do the same thing as we have done with this tile set sprite. So we're gonna slice it individually by 16 by 16. To do that, let's move over to inspector sprite mode. We're gonna choose multiple pixel per unit 16, and to remove blurry we will choose point no filter, and then click on this apply button. And after doing that, let's click on this open sprite editor, and we can see our sprite editor tab. And what we're gonna do by now, we're gonna slice 16 by 16. To do that, let's click on this slice, then select automatic to grid by cell size, and let's put in the x16 and in the y16, and then click on slice, then apply. And now it's done. I'm gonna select my game view once again, and now what we have to do, we need to drag the tile set sprite over here. So let's select that and drag it over to here. Make sure you just don't drag it or don't make it overlapping with the first one. So we're going to drag it into empty space inside our this tile palette, something over here. Now it's gonna, once again it's gonna take us to a folder where we want to place it. And as always we will go to assets, and in assets we created this tile map subfolder. So we're gonna quickly open that up by double clicking on it, and let's click on the select folder in the bottom right. And as soon as we're gonna do that, it's gonna we're gonna able to notice our trees, tiles, and all of this. And indeed so this is our tree. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drag my tree, but before I do, I just want to make zoom out. So I will select my main camera, then I will move over to inspector camera component, and size I'm gonna make it something like 8 to zoom out. Sorry, it's too much. So I'm gonna drag it something just like this, and I will take my main camera and I'm gonna drag it up a little bit. Now let's create a new tile map for our trees. To do that, we will select our level or the grid in the hierarchy, right click, 2D object, tile map, rectangular, and let's call this one something like tree tiles. So let's call this one tree underscore tiles, just like that. And after doing that, we're gonna select our tree by selecting the brush tool. So we can select just like this, and now we can just place it. So I'm gonna place it something over here. But as you can notice, it seems it's in front of this grass and the ground tiles. So what we need to do, we need to take our tree and we need to drag it behind. To do that, we're gonna select our trees underscore tiles. Then we basically we will follow the same procedure. So let's select that. Let's go over to inspector, tile map renderer, sorting layer, and let's create a new sorting layer for our this tree. So let's click on this plus icon and we're gonna call this one tree, and we want to have our tree all the way behind. It should be behind of this grass, it should be behind of our player and this ground tiles. So we're gonna take our tree sorting layer and we're gonna drag it all the way behind, basically in the top. And after doing that, we need to select the tile map. So in our case, which is tree underscore tiles, then go over to inspector and sorting layer I'm gonna assign with tree. And as soon as I have chosen, we can see by now it seems behind of our this grass tiles as well as this ground tiles. And we can create some platformer, so let's do that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a back tiles, a new something like that. So to do that, I'm gonna select my level. Let's right click on it. Let's go to 2D object, tile map, rectangular, and we can call this one pack sorry back underscore tiles. And after doing that, we can just create. So let's open up quickly. So I'm going to open up my tile palette tab, and this back tiles will be in front of this tree tiles, but it should be behind this ground, this player, and this grasses. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select this one, and I can just place it just like this. And indeed it seems like it's in front of our grass and this ground tiles. So let's create a new sorting layer for this one as well. So I'm gonna choose my back underscore tiles, go over to inspector, tile map renderer, then sorting layer, we're gonna create new one. So let's click on this plus icon and let's call this one back underscore tiles. And we're gonna take this behind our player and the grass and the default, but we're gonna drag it atop of our tree. So that's why I just didn't drag it all the way behind. And now we need to assign it. So I'm gonna choose my back underscore tiles in the hierarchy underneath my level or the create, and let's assign with that one. Now we done, and we can notice by now it seems behind our this grass and this ground tiles. And let's create a new tile for our, you can call platformer tile, like that we can call it. So I'm gonna select my levels once again, then right click, and as always we will go to 2D object, tile map, rectangular, and we can call this one platformer tiles. Let's call it platformer underscore tiles, and we're gonna choose our platformer underscore tiles, and we can just place it just like this. And I'm gonna erase my back tiles, this one. So I'm gonna choose my back underscore tiles underneath my level, and let's select the eraser tool and let's erase that one. So I want to have, and I'm gonna erase this one as well. So I want to have a collider 2D to this platformer tiles. So that's why I'm gonna choose my platformer tiles. Let's click on this add component, and we're gonna add tile map collider 2D as always to add. And we can just place it. So first thing, I'm gonna place some tiles. Let's do that like this, and we can flip this, and now this seems pretty much fine. And this we can notice that the tile maps are individually. So to just compile at once, we do know what we need to do. So let's click on add component, and we're gonna add a composite collider 2D. So let's go to rigid body 2D, body type to kinematic, collision detection to continuous, interpolate to interpolate. And after doing that, we will move over to tile map collider 2D, then composite operation, and we will click on this merge. And as soon as we have chosen merge, we can notice by now all of these individual tiles, it's basically gets compiles, all of this individual tile map collider gets compiles at once. And now we can place our grass tiles. So I'm going to choose my grass underscore tiles, and let's click on this open tile palette. In this scene view, you can have it anywhere in this scene view, so you need to find out first, and after that you can just do that. So I'm going to choose my grass, so in my case this one, so I can place it just like this, and this seems pretty much cool. And for this one I'm gonna choose this one, and we can notice indeed it seems pretty much cool. And you can create multiple tile map. It's basically up to you to make your game more amazing and cool. And make sure you just select your level or the grid in the hierarchy, and you turn it into a prefab, so you're gonna have the copy of it, and you don't need to work from scratch. So I'm gonna select my level in the hierarchy or the grid, and let's drag it over to this assets folder inside our project tab in order to turn it into a prefab. And I hope you get the idea that how you can do it. And also you can just drag your backgrounds and do all of those things. So I hope you get the idea that how you can do it. And I bye for now. I will see you in the next tutorial.